There
Hey
he is.
guys, finally, you
Stupid
found me.
fucking
Jesus,
IG.
stupid
Now,
the fucking Instagram.
what do you think about?
How you guys doing, man?
Listen, for people who are tuned in now, Federico Castelluccio, Furio Giunta on The Sopranos, and many other
Come on,
different
say
films.
it right. Furio
Well,
Giunta.
Giunta. Well, you say it better than me.
It's
First off,
it's
right
Furio
off the bat,
Giunta. That's
right
it.
off the bat, I want people because we sat down before and it was a beautiful conversation.
Yeah, no,
And
we had a great conversation.
and there's so many comments in there of people saying things. And one of the biggest comments is that they can't believe that you speak regular.
You mean
Everyone expects you to have. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
They expect you to have the accent. People go crazy when, do people come up to you and when they see you, hey, hey, you look familiar, and say, hey, no accent, Remember you told the story
Yeah,
about
no,
Edie
no.
Falco?
Yeah, no, there was. I would get that all the time. You see, I had been knocking around for I would say about 12 years as an actor in New York City, doing regional theater, all kinds of stuff. Any kind of work that you could get as an actor, you would just go in, audition, and get these jobs. And so you're thrown into the sort of stratosphere with The Sopranos, and everybody that basically sees you for the first time, they see you speaking with an accent. And that's exactly what happened the very first time that I worked on The Sopranos, that I came in and actually did a read-through. And when you do a read-through, you're sitting around a table, it's your turn to speak, and so you would announce your name. And I said, Federico Castelluccio, Furio Giunta, just like that with the accent. I was already in, pretty much in character. And then every single time my role came up, I was basically doing it with the accent. So I left. So people that didn't know me in that reading, including Edie Falco, when she saw me the next day or next couple of days later in the makeup trailer, I said hello to everybody. I said hello to the people, the makeup artists and everything, and hair people. And I said hi to Edie, and she looked at me in the mirror. She's like, what is up with this? She's like, what happened to your accent? And the guy that was doing my hair said, it's called acting, dear.
It's called acting, dear. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that was
classic story. How many people come up to you in the street and say you got a B on your hat? How many people have told you that?
That's a classic line, man. That is a classic line. A lot of people say that you got to be on your hat, stupid the fucking game. That that they love that one.
Give me $1,000.
Oh my God! Let me tell you. Jeff Marchetti, right? Jeff.
He's
Jeff
the man.
worked with us on. Yeah, Jeff is the best, man, and he worked with us on The Sopranos. He was in the crew for a long time, and then they actually gave him a character because he was an actor. He was bouncing around for years as well, and I remember when we were shooting that scene. It was in the studios, Silver Cup Studios, and every time I did that line, I hear them like behind the screen, behind the wall, cracking up. I mean, the director had to say, hey, Alan Coulter was like, hey, could you guys keep it down back there? We hear you guys laughing. Every time I said $1,000, But anyway,
1,000 more.
That was yes, $1,000.
Yeah, you know that song that was on there, Up in the Club? You know that song that was on there? That's
right.
That scene. Now, were they playing that while you were doing, or they just added that?
Yeah. They added it in. Obviously, you can't have music over your lines, but we kind of got a sample of it, to understand the kind of music that was in there, and then they would shut it off as soon as we started talking. So, but one of the things that a lot of people don't notice in that scene is when the very first shot, when it opens up. I don't know if you know what the let me see, what does it say?
Is that the statue of David?
No, that's not. That is actually an écrochet. That is, I can show you what that is. Here. That is what artists study, when they're studying anatomy. And that is a 19th century one that I bought a while back.
You got to see these comments on it. Somebody said, when I saw Naples, I got a heart on.
That's right. That was one of my lines. But I said that in Napolitan,
Yeah. How do you say that?
Hey, quando ho visto a Napoli dall'aeroplano, mi sentite tutto eccitato.
There you go.
Mi sono sentito tutto eccitato. It means, yeah. But anyway, that is Horace in the background. No, I'm just kidding. That is a human skull.
Somebody said that's Junior Soprano naked.
Well, that could
if
be.
you have any questions for Federico Furio, drop. Okay, we got some more. Hold on. They're coming up here. Here we go. There you go. Look at this one, Federico.
What is this? How many takes to shoot the massage parlor scene? It was actually one take. Okay. The very first shot that you see, not the very first shot, but the shot where you see me kind of going into. Why do I get rid of this thing? It's in. Okay, there it is. We shot everything prior to me going into the brothel, and that was about, I would say, 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, and basically it was one shot. It was a Steadicam shot right behind me that was following me through the entire scene, and at 2:45, 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, there were a lot of things that I had to do and to remember, which like foot I had to go through the door with, break the glass, hit the girl, go down, grab the gun, grab her, go through the door, shoot the gun in the air, bounce everybody around, and then kick the door in. Well, that was one take. That was one take. Yeah.
When you say one take, for people listening who don't know acting, like, is that something like you did a great job on that? Or should have
it would have. Let me tell you what would have happened. If we would have had to reset that breakaway glass and go into another, it would have gone into another day of shooting, because they already went overtime, at 3:30 in the morning. But when the smoke cleared, everything, they checked the gate. The gate was good.
Yep.
And they said it's fine. And I remember this thing. It was almost like, myself, Federico, the actor, was kind of proving himself to the Sopranos production, as Furio was kind of proving himself to Tony Soprano. And so at the end, I remember Eileen Landris came over to me and she gave me a big hug and said, "Federico, that was fantastic. Thank you. That was great." And then, you realize why, because, it goes into extra money. It goes into
sure.
tons more money, to shoot another day.
Hey, listen, you saved them a lot. A lot of people want to know, how did Carmela's hair smell?
It smelled like hairspray, I guess. I didn't know.
Let's get some more questions, Federico. There's a lot of people that have questions for you. Hold on. There you go. Federico, what was your favorite shoot, Naples or Nutley?
Oh man, you can answer that one.
I mean, Naples.
Of course, Napoli, man. It was a really nostalgic thing for me, because I hadn't been back to Naples in a while, but it was nice going back, and working there as an actor. You know what I mean? After so many years, and I had quite a few cousins that came to visit me in Naples, and I remember the first night we were, at the hotel, and it was about, I would say, about 12, 13 cousins that came to visit me. And so they were in the lobby of the hotel. I remember David Chase walking down the stairs, getting ready for us to kind of go out to dinner. And he looks around, he goes, "Where are all these people?" They go, "They're Federico's cousins." So it was kind of cool.
I'm surprised they didn't put anybody in there.
We did. We put a couple guys in some of the scenes, a couple of the cousins.
Somebody
scene got cut out.
Okay, you got cut out?
No, go ahead. Good.
No. You said the scene got cut out?
Scene got cut, yeah, but with my cousins.
Somebody asked a real cool question that I never thought of. Were any of your paintings featured in The Sopranos, or you really weren't doing it like that?
No. See, when it comes to the unions, when you're working in film and television, they're really strict. The unions are very strict. So local 52, I think, takes care of props, and that would be considered a prop, because it's in the set dressing and props. Yep. And so that is a whole different ball game. They did not use my work in any of my paintings in the film. I mean, in the series.
Stupid fucking union. Hold on one second. Do you think Furio was eventually killed back in Italy after Carmela's revelation to Tony? Who knows? You
No,
know?
no, I don't
No?
think so. I think he's still roaming around. I think Annalisa may have gotten. This was my own storyline. I kind of created my own storyline. I think Annalisa, which was his cousin, the boss, the acting boss, winds up getting arrested as well. She gets thrown in jail, and who is running everything but Furio?
Really?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though because you signed up only for how many episodes?
Three
episodes and wind up doing
34 or something. I'm not sure.
Things like, you know, look, me and you had a big sit down and we went over this whole thing, but it is really amazing for somebody who, one, was a fan of the show.
Yes, absolutely. There's
Two,
no question.
Bugged and drove his agent crazy to get on there. Had to wait so long, did multiple reads.
2.5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, did multiple reads. Had to come back and do a read with the legendary, you know, James Gandolfini. And then signs up for 3 episodes, winds up doing 34. A lot of people, and I mean this, I'm not just saying this, a lot of people said that they should have kept your character. You know,
well, I wouldn't argue with them. I kind of feel the same way, but I think everything comes down to storyline and also finances. When you have new characters coming in and they're trying to work out their deals, and you have people like Frank Vincent, God rest his soul, great
rest
actor.
in peace.
They absolutely. He was a wonderful actor and did a great job. And he was having issues. They wouldn't come up with his price. And that was around the time that I believe they were going to get rid of the New York boss, Johnny Sack's character. And I was at one of the restaurants downtown in Little Italy, and one of the producers we were out. I think we had some kind of event, and then we went to Il Cortile to just have a few more drinks. And
why not?
And this producer blurted out that too bad for Johnny Sack, he's going to be leaving next year, and we all looked at each other.
Really?
It was like that. That was like we shouldn't have heard that, And I remember talking with Jim, and I was like, "Oh man, is he really?" Because we're like a family, we didn't want to see him go. Sure. And then it looks like I think this is what happened. I think it turned out that they wound up obviously working out Frank Vincent's numbers, to get on the show, and then they had to kind of continue that storyline, which was the New York situation, New York boss situation.
You went from 3 episodes to 34 episodes, and does people know that? Didn't you try out for a different part in the beginning?
I did. I actually tried out for Johnny Sack.
There you go.
I told my agent. I said, listen, I read this part. I mean, this sounds like a John Gotti type. I said I was 34 years old at the time, and I was like, this is it's not me, man. He goes, well, I sent your picture and resume in. They want to see you. So
there you go. Another question.
Yeah. Okay. What is it?
Wait. What was the significance of the balsamic vinegar Furio gave to Carmela?
Well, that really wasn't meant for Carmela. That was kind of like a spur of the moment gift that he had to give her, because he couldn't bring something back for the boss's wife. It would seem really weird, And so he gave a little gobetto, those little hunchback, charms to the son. And then he, at the last minute, he said, "Oh yeah, this is from my sister's cousin, something that made it." I forgot the line.
Yeah. So I don't want to cut you back off. So we were talking. First of all, let me take a moment. Whoever's joining us now, it's been joining us. The SopranosCon IG live show. It's quarantine party time, or quarantine. Take away your mind off of it. What's going on in this world. A lot of us are obviously stuck in the house. People are dealing with a lot of things and serious things, and we want to send our thoughts and our prayers and our blessings. Tonight we were joined. This is the first one. It will be going every night. Different host, different founders will host, different cast members, different people. We had on the 3 founders of Michael Mata, Joe Fama, and Daniel Trader, which is Time Immemorial, and also brought on you, the other piece of
Yeah.
the whole conglomerate. Federico
These guys were fantastic. Castelluccio, that's right.
Yeah.
These guys were fantastic. I tell you, Michael Mata, as you may know, I've worked with over the years. Even around the time we were still on the show, he reached out to us, and I wound up doing an appearance with him. And then we kept in touch over the years. You know, he's always had. He's a brilliant guy, and he's always had ideas for different projects and plays and things like that. And then, you know, we did a couple of other appearances with some of the guys from the show in the recent past. And then when he called me up and asked my opinion on something, which was the SopranosCon, he said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "I think it's great. Yes, I think you guys better jump on it right now before somebody else comes up with the idea." Because it was the 20th anniversary, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they really did a phenomenal job, you know.
Crazy. You know what? Listen, as we're here, as we're talking with Federico Furio, the Zip, the Guinea from Italy, is back home.
It's Mr. Zip to you.
Mr. Zip, I'm sorry. Mr. $1,000. Mr. I need something to hold on to. You know, why don't you drop a question in the question box, and we'll answer them. Any question you have for Furio, we'll ask him, as long as you're not being, okay, hold on, let's see what some of these people are saying. I mean, there are so many comments coming in, I can't even keep up to them. I got to put my nostril.
Who's Jimmy Roselli? Somebody said, do you listen to Jimmy Roselli? That name sounds familiar.
It sounds like maybe, you know, a nice singer. What was your most memorable scene with Gandolfini?
Oh, Jimmy Roselli, right. What was that?
What was your most memorable scene with Gandolfini?
Memorable scene? I think it was that first time we worked together. There were a lot of great scenes, I thought, but that really kind of stood out for me because I had been a fan of Jim Gandolfini for a long time. I had seen him in, like, you know, supporting character roles all over, and you know, and you know, like Black Box Theater and Broadway. I saw him in The Streetcar Named Desire. Actually, Aida Turturro was in that too. Who was also a friend of mine before getting on Sopranos. And so that day was really special because it was sort of like a dream come true. You know, you see an actor that is an amazing actor, and you're like, oh man, love to work with that guy or that girl, that woman. So after everything was over and smoke cleared that night around 3:30 in the morning, I saw him just standing in the street, and I went over to him and I said, "James, would you mind?" He said, "Call me Jim." I said, "Fine." Hey, Jim, you know, I just want to tell you that, you know, I've been following your work for a long time. And he looked at me, he's like, "You've been following my work?" He's like, you know, and that moment really told me a lot about who James Gandolfini was. Yeah. He was a very humble guy, very normal.
Very
person,
heartfelt guy, you know, rest in peace.
Oh my, he really cared about so many people around him and his family and friends, and you know, he was a real solid person, man.
Didn't you guys used to go out to eat afterwards, like sometimes, like, and didn't you, like,
we did
after like certain? Where did you go and what did you drink?
Sometimes we'd go out for a drink. Sometimes we would go to CL Rouge, which was a really small club or bar actually that Michael Imperioli owned.
Yep.
And we would go there and hang out, have a couple drinks afterwards. But it was kind of cool, man. It was we also, I remember there was a time we were working really late one night, and it was a Friday night, and we were the last scene up. It was me and Jim, and everybody was saying, "Hey, you're going to the Jilly's opening in New York. You're going to the Jilly's opening." So we said, you know, we'll see what time we get out. We got out pretty late, but it was a black tie affair. So we went to wardrobe and we told them what the situation was, and they lent us some suits to go to this fucking party, man. Which is kind of cool.
I mean, there's so many different stories you have with James Gandolfini, rest in peace, the late great, the legend.
Loved him, man. Loved him.
You know, just so many special moments, so many moments that you had on air. Let's go back over. Listen, let me tell you something. You're a humble guy. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people fucking love you, man. A lot of people love your scene. Young people, middle-aged people, old people. Because mind you, Sopranos is being watched by everybody. Let's see what some people say here. Furio rocks. You know, is this prick really a doctor? Remember that?
Is this prick really a doctor?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Here we go. This is a little serious, though. Federico, can you give us your thoughts about Italia and what has transpired there? You know.
Wow. Yeah. I feel so bad for the Italian people. Obviously, that's you know, it really hits my gut hard. I mean, you know, there were a lot of you know, look, it gets political, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to get involved in that. I just feel so bad that so many people perished with this virus. I mean, we really got to take this stuff seriously, man. You know, just do everything that they're telling you to do. Wash your hands. You know, clean surfaces. You know, especially if you have older friends or older, you know, parents around and grandparents. I mean, it's serious, man. They can get it, and we're young and virile, so you know, we can withstand it a little bit more. But Italy got hit hard, man, really hard.
Yeah, they're in my thoughts. They're in your thoughts. They're in everybody's thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
Let's continue. Somebody says his English is perfect. Well, yeah, I think it's a pretty good. Give him some time. Give him some time.
Senti, se vogliamo parlare italiano, parliamo italiano.
No, give him the part when you come in, and the one and only Tony Soprano, Mr. Gandolfini, hands you the keys to what car? Remember that part?
Oh, yes. Cadillac.
Who's on the...
Mannaggia la Marina, mannaggia.
Hold on, let's see.
Oh, can I tell you? Can I tell you a quick story about that?
Hold on, before you get to that.
Good.
Right there.
Did you get
Look at that.
those Versace? Oh, you know what? Actually, when I think when they had some kind of like fire sale at the end, you know, and we got a chance to buy certain things at pennies on the dollar. So, and some things they would actually give us, but I did get a couple of those shirts because they were iconic.
Somebody wrote, "Love you, Federico. You did a great job judging those hats on Celebrity Apprentice."
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious, man. That was due to my buddy Chuck LaBella, who was one of the segment producers. He was the segment producer of that show, and it was interesting because while they were coming up with that show, I was in Los Angeles visiting my friend. I went to his office, and he was on the conference call. And Mark Burnett was on the phone with Donald Trump, and they were talking about Vinny Pastore being on the show. And so my friend looks at me and he goes, "You want to be on this?" I said, "No way, man! I'm not doing any of those shows." It was just not for me, man. I just can't do those things.
Now, a lot of people are asking, what's your favorite Mafia movie?
My favorite Mafia? Well, I have many. I mean. Has anybody ever seen Mafioso, which was an Italian film from the 1940s or 50s? It was a great film. Obviously, Godfather 1 and 2. I love
classics.
I love the classics. But also, Goodfellas left an impression on me. I mean, like it did on millions of other people. Sure. But as
ahead of its time.
But but as a director, I always looked at Martin Scorsese's work. Not to copy it or anything. It's just kind of just always kept it in the back of my mind when I'm directing.
Yeah, a couple more questions and then we'll end it. We've been on for a while. Federico Castelluccio.
Castelluccio.
Furio is here. The Mr. Zip. You know what? As we're here, I want you to do this. I want you to put in where you're from, and let Furio see the love from all around the world. There's people in here from Netherlands and British Columbia and Italy, and let Furio know where you're from in the comments.
The Netherlands, really. Ik spreek de Nederlandstaal in klein beetje.
Yeah, look at this. Staten Island, New York. There you go, Eastern Pennsylvania. And I seen somebody ask
North Carolina.
Where he was born. He was born in Italy very early.
I was born in Naples. Came here when I was about 3.
Yep, came to Paterson, New Jersey. And the rest has been history. A hug from Argentina. You see that?
Wow, man. That's really cool.
North Carolina. Man.
Brooklyn.
Love from Ontario. Come on, keep on showing Federico.
Stanhope, New Jersey. Elizabeth. Sorry, that's not exotic. That's funny.
New Jersey, Soprano County.
That's great,
San
man.
Diego, Patterson. Let's answer a couple more questions before we go. There we go.
That's cool.
Couple
Who would
more
win the
before we
first
go.
fight, Ralphie or Furio?
Fist fight.
Oh my God, Furio would wipe the
Morocco's
fucking
on
floor.
here. Florida, shouts to Mafia Chronicles. Let me see. Northern California got love for Furio.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Hold on.
Very cool. Providence, Rhode Island. Was that Michael?
Who knows, right?
Fresno, California.
Yep. Let me see. Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Woodbridge, New Jersey. I thought it was going to be Ontario.
Now you also have your own brand.
That's right, Badass Brands,
yeah,
man.
Badass Brands. Now, Badass Brands, I've seen a hat. I've seen they have a hoodie, some tees. What is Badass Brand for those who are listening?
Badass Brands, in short, is people who do good are badasses. That's a basic bottom line. You know, people that are doing great, like these. You know, for example, these doctors that are going in and they're taking care of patients. Man, they're badass doctors. You know, people, just a regular mom that is taking care of 3-4 kids. That's a badass mom. So, in other words, you know, people that are doing great things in life are badasses, and it's part of our vernacular now.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and you can go to badassbrand.com or
that's right, badassbrands.com. We have got hats and T-shirts and things like that, and you know, it's starting up. It's just starting up, but we're getting there. You know.
Listen, if you love Furio, if you love Federico, you know, support it. Badass Brands. It's on Instagram. Badassbrand.com.
That's right.
It's right there. Somebody's in the comment doing that. Hold on one second. I have one more question for you, and we're going to actually answer a couple of people right here. Hold on. Somebody wrote something. Let me see. Let's see. Come to Argentina. A lot of pasta here. Mexico City, Philly, showing love. How was it working with Artie Bucco?
Artie Bucco. He's great, man. John Ventimiglia, awesome actor, man. Really love the guy. Love his work. He's a really talented guy, man. And he should have done more in it. I think that you know he should have been utilized more.
Yeah, he was beautiful. Somebody said, "Did you do any improv when filming Sopranos?" Well, actually, on the show we explained it. the show me and you did. You when you did your casting, or what do they call it when you read, you added some Italian.
Yeah, it was the audition. It was the audition. I thought it was missing some Italianismo. You know, I thought some of the real Italian words, you know, should have been in there, and so I basically ad-libbed something at the end, even though I knew that was a no-no, and everyone was saying it in the industry.
They told you shouldn't try to add anything, and
that's
then
right.
There you go. You felt it was needed, and
I felt it was needed. You know, as an actor, you've got to kind of go with the moment, go with how, you know, I felt the room really kind of with me when I was auditioning, and I felt kind of that coldness that when I first walked in, it just kind of went away, and people were listening and kind of leaning forward and just watching what I was doing. And at the end, so I threw this line out in Napolitan, and long story short, my very the third and last audition that I did, which was a screen test with James Gandolfini, I read the new script, and it had, in Italian at the end, it had the line that I ad-libbed.
Yeah, and that's what you said in the brothel.
That's exactly right.
What did you say?
Sei fortunato che non t'ha già ammazzato, puttana.
There you go. Let's see some last one. The firefighter from Pennsylvania here. I'll be contributing to the Badass Brand. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your service.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service. Absolutely.
Do all they have worldwide
responders,
shipping?
Man, we're with you. All the police officers, we're with you, man. Well, you know, thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you do, for risking your lives for us.
Absolutely. Do they have worldwide shipping?
Yes, we do. We have shipping. Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me see what else. How badly did you beat up the French guy who ripped off Artie? You know?
Yeah, you don't want to know.
You beat his fucking ass.
Wipe the floor with him.
Pete, thanks. Listen, first of all, there's so much to go through. It's beautiful. We're gonna 1 second. Let me see. I just want to make sure.
I ain't the North.
Yeah.
I had the North.
Furio's a dead man. My last question is this. Well, here's my last question, and then we'll end it off.
Yeah.
When you're dancing with Carmela,
Yeah.
okay, whoever wrote that script, like, did Furio feel comfortable enough to dance with a boss's wife? It didn't feel like, it seems a little like you got to be, you're cutting on short edge. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, meaning like,
yeah, well,
the boss's wife.
I think it was I think it sort of was at the opening of his. It was at the opening. It was at the party, as you know, the party that was having for his housewarming party. I guess it was called. They called it. And so everybody was having fun. Everybody was dancing. The kids were dancing, and so they're kind of like in the business mind in the corner, Tony Soprano and the other guys were kind of like talking business. Yep. So they almost didn't kind of notice it. It was just like another thing. Hey, there's the Italian guy. He's dancing. That's. I don't think it was kind of like just underneath. You know what I mean?
No, because I could see like, Paul or somebody saying, I think he's trying to make a move on Carmela. You know what I mean? Like, Italian guys are like, fuck's the matter with this guy? Because in that world, you never know. And that's something that I loved about Sopranos. Growing up in Brooklyn, growing up like a lot of people, where we grew up in an area where it was very, influenced by that. When Sopranos came on, I was like, please, I hope this is not Fugazi. And it was so authentic and so real and so relatable. And like I said, Sundays have not been the same since Sopranos went off air. We used to run home, make sure we had a nice pizza pie, a spread, antipasta. And it was really like a holiday. It was like Super Bowl Sunday every Sunday.
Some gabagool.
Forget about it. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on. You'll be on soon again. Let me go back over this as we end it together. All right. This is it went way over what I thought it would, but it's our first one. Tomorrow night, sure. It'll be on every night. This is SopranosCon IG live show. While you're quarantined, we will be here for you. We had Michael Mater on tonight, the co-founder, Dan Trader, Time Memorial, another co-founder, and Joseph Fama, Soprano Sketches, co-founder, Federico.
Brilliant guys.
Castelluccio. Tomorrow, we'll announce, stay tuned on SopranosCon. Also follow Federico. Now he's on IG. Stupid the fucking IG. Do you even know how to use this IG yet? You figuring it out?
No, man, I'm just figuring it out. It's another headache, but you know what? I got to do it, and I got to reach out to the fans.
Well, listen, you got a lot of followers.
I'd love to see what they. Yeah, well, that's very cool, and I have to thank Dan Trader for helping me out with everything.
Yes, fucking meme page.
Exactly.
And listen, tomorrow night we'll be on, and the next couple nights. So thank you, everybody from worldwide who tuned in. Say your last goodbyes to Furio. Tell him, to imagine, tell him with the fucking Cadillac.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.
All my
we'll
friends.
see you tomorrow night.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.